The New York Knicks could be contenders for the NBA championship next season, depending on who you listen to. A ESPN spokesperson recently spoke out and they gave their insight in regards to who they believe will be a contender not only in the Eastern Conference, but for the NBA championship next season. We're also going to look at the New York Knicks full season schedule and take a look at how difficult it is or how easy it is. And that should help give us some insight in regards to if the New York Knicks could even attempt to get to the NBA Finals next season. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today, folks, on the Knicks Digest. The reports that have come out recently about the New York Knicks have definitely been borderline crazy, I will say, because a lot of reports recently have stated that the New York Knicks could be a team to watch to go to the NBA Finals. And I think I speak for a lot of Knicks fans. When I heard this particular report, I was not only shocked, I was taken back a little bit. And if you want to know who gave this report, it was ESPN Bobby Marks, who fully believes that the New York Knicks are contenders in the Eastern Conference. So recently, he stated that the Phoenix Suns and the New York Knicks may be a NBA Finals matchup to watch. And he stated that, and then he had to go on the Bart and Hahn show to basically double down on what he meant by that. And basically, he defended his pick and continued to pile on the optimism for New Yorkers and the New York Knicks. He stated the following on the Bart and Hahn show. I think there's a lot of parity in the Eastern Conference here. And I think barring an injury to one of their main guys, I think we should be talking about New York when it comes to representing the Eastern Conference. He's speaking about the finals. I think we should be talking about the New York Knicks like we talk about Milwaukee, Boston, and Miami. Is my jaw dropped a little bit? Because I feel like it's dropped. He said the New York Knicks should be spoken about like the top tier teams in the East. Boston, Milwaukee, Miami, who just went to the finals. This is a very big statement, and in my opinion, it means a lot. When's the last time anyone from ESPN, or let alone the national media, covered the New York Knicks and given them praise like this? When's the last time the media has stated openly that the New York Knicks could even be in the NBA Finals? I feel like I was living in a dream when Bobby Marks said this. I could not believe my ears. But when I found out it was real, and I pinched myself and I knew I wasn't dreaming, it brought so many smiles to my face because it's really happy to hear that people around the league, ESPN of all people, believe that the New York Knicks could be in the NBA Finals next season, and let alone face KD and the Suns at the finals. That's huge news. Now, if I'm being realistic here, while I love the news, it does seem like it's very hard for the New York Knicks to attain that. That's due to a number of reasons, but the main reasons for me is really because the New York Knicks didn't really get better. They added Donte DiVincenzo, which is great. He does add some shooting. That's good. But they didn't fill a spot that they needed. He's a guard. They have enough guards. They really needed another backup power forward since they traded Obi Toppin away. They didn't really fill that. If anything, reports are indicating that RJ Barrett and Josh Hart are going to play spot minutes at the 4, which for me is a travesty because then again, you keep moving these players away from their natural position. And I don't know how long we're going to have to watch this before we're going to have to take a stand and say, Tom Thibodeau, stop. Put them back in their natural positions and watch them thrive. But nonetheless, Bobby Marks believes, as currently constructed, the New York Knicks can contend in the Eastern Conference and in the NBA for that NBA Finals championship. And that means a lot coming from somebody in the national media. But again, like I stated before, I don't see this happening. I think the New York Knicks are one piece away from contending for that championship. Just one piece away. They still need to add that star. Jalen's going to be that superstar eventually. RJ Barrett, I still believe, can be an all-star in this league if used properly. Julius Randle can be an all-star who passes more than he looks to score. I fully believe that. And if he can take on a more facilitator role, the New York Knicks might take a next step to another level. But it doesn't stop there. We still need that number one for this team to command this team forward and put us in contention not only for 1 year, but for every year. We're still missing that piece in my opinion. But shout out to Bobby Marks because we don't get this praise often. And I like to hear it. And trust me when I say, if the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, let alone the NBA Finals, I will be so happy because they would have exceeded expectations. If you ask any NBA fan right now, none of them have the Knicks even in the Eastern Conference Finals, so let alone the NBA Finals. So I would love to see the Knicks get at least there because they would shock a lot of people. They would be spoken about highly, and I think doing that also attracts a lot of players and a lot of stars. It's a win, win, win for the New York Knicks. I definitely think they're going to be a playoff team moving into next season, but winning a championship or being a contending team, I don't think so. At least, not yet. The New York Knicks full season schedule has finally been released. This helps give us a glimpse into what the New York Knicks will be facing heading into next season. And if you take a look here, this is the New York Knicks full season schedule. There's going to be a link in the description where you can take a better look at this because I know it's hard to look at each and every game here. But we're going to take a look at the key games that I think New York Knicks fans should be watching. So look at these games here. We have opening night on Wednesday, October 25th against Boston. That is absolutely going to be a tough one. You got Jason Tatum and potentially KP making his debut there. A lot of storylines going on there. We got a road opener against Atlanta on Friday, October 27th. Another great storyline there with Trae Young and Jalen Brunson. Can't wait to watch that. Obviously, Christmas Day, we got one of the toughest matchups against Milwaukee, December 25th, which is Monday. New Year's Day, we're facing Minnesota. That's January 1st, which is a Saturday. And then Martin Luther King Day, we have that on Monday, January 15th against Orlando. Not so bad there. Easter Sunday, that's March 31st. We have Oklahoma City. That also may not be a bad one, but Oklahoma City for me is one of my sleeper teams in the West. I think they have so much talent. That team is definitely one to watch for next season. If you didn't know, NBA All-Star Weekend is from February 16th to the 18th in Indiana. So that's right. You can say hi to Obi Toppin if you find yourself over there. If not, you can watch on TV like I will be because there's no shot that I'm going to Indiana to watch those games. But good to know that that's where they're going to be held. If you wanted to know as well, too, the Knicks have consecutive home games, 5 games. That's February 1st to the 10th. And then they have consecutive road games, 5 games as well. And they do that twice. You can look at the full season schedule to understand when they do that. And here's a very curious thing that I thought was interesting in terms of just a metric for games being played. The New York Knicks are going to play their most games on Saturday, and the Knicks play their most games during the month of January, where they'll play 16 games. Again, I thought it was interesting to note this. We don't often get these metrics for games played or where they're played and things like that. So when we do, I think it's a good chance to highlight them. These are absolutely some of the games that I think every single Knicks fan should watch. Are they the only games to watch? Absolutely not. There are so many other games that I absolutely think New York Knicks fans should watch. That's why I urge you to take a look at the full season schedule because this right here doesn't do it justice because I know it's really hard to see. But if you take a look at the link in the description, you will be able to take a look at the full season schedule at iView so you can look at all of the difficult matchups, intriguing matchups, and hard matchups. And I think one of the matchups that wasn't key there that I didn't note yet was the first back-to-back matchup that the New York Knicks have against the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. A lot of storylines going on over there. It's going to be Donovan versus Brunson again for another season. Personally, for me, I can't wait for that. I thought that should have been the opener, given all the history and what happened during the playoffs, or at least Miami. But none of that happened. But I'm okay with that. I'm happy to see Boston. I like that rivalry as well too. But kind of being honest, I would have loved to see the Cavaliers versus the Knicks on opening night. But speaking about the Knicks and the games they're going to be playing, I got to say something because it's very interesting to note. The Knicks' first 10 games are difficult. Now, I do want to take a close-up here into the first 10 games, really the first 25 games that the New York Knicks are going to be playing. Because you can make the argument that the first 25 games the Knicks are going to play are extremely difficult. If we take a look here, their first game, like we said, is against Boston. Then they have Atlanta, then New Orleans. That first back-to-back, Cleveland, and then Cleveland again. Then Milwaukee, then the Clippers. Then they have San Antonio. We don't know how big of a team that's going to be yet or how monstrous that team is going to be yet. They could be really good or really bad. Only time will tell. Then you have Charlotte. Then you have Boston again. That's your first 10 games. Your first 10 games. You have Boston twice. You have Cleveland twice. You have Milwaukee. You have the Clippers. These are intense games. The Knicks are going to be tested without question for the first 10 games in. And the only thing they're going to have to bank on is another year of playing together and that chemistry clicking faster early on and hopefully helping them get an edge over their competition against some teams that might be newly formed, like Boston, for instance, that lost their heart in Marcus Smart but got an injury-prone KP back. KP's injured right now. He might be good to go for the regular season. We don't know yet. But if he isn't, that's a huge blow to Boston. If he is, they still have to gel together and get chemistry together. Either way, I think it bodes well for the New York Knicks. But they're going to be tested without a shadow of a doubt. The New York Knicks are not slated to beat a lot of these teams. I want the Knicks to beat these teams. I want the Knicks to destroy these teams. And I want the Knicks to beat these teams in a way that makes a statement that says the New York Knicks are here. To take a line from a player that some fans really don't like, but I don't care because right now it's appropriate. New York. We here. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment below. Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. And you too, Julius. I forgot you were back there. Peace. Peace, Jules.